Welcome to Juggling Interviews. This episode is brought to you by eJuggle, the IJ's official online publication, where you can find the latest juggling news, articles, videos, and podcasts, just like this one. If you want to check that out, you can head over to their website at juggle.org/ejuggle, or with the link in the description. This episode is also sponsored by Play Juggling. On their website, you can find high-quality props like balls, clubs, rings, diablos, poise, fire equipments, flower sticks, glow props, and tons more. Head over to playjuggling.com and use my code XavJuggles, XavJuggles10, to get 10% off your next purchase. It's a great way to support me, so thank you a lot, Play Juggling. Now let's get to the episode. Alright, so hello guys, welcome back to the Juggling Interviews, the podcast hosted by me, XavJuggles, and today we got Julian Saether.
Hey.
Is that how you
you
say
got
it?
it?
Let's go. Before the podcast, you give me a little Norwegian lesson, so now I can say like Norwegian names a little bit better. I know last time I messed up Avin's name. Can you say it like properly? Because last time I kind of messed it up.
Eivind Dragsjø.
Exactly. That's how I meant to pronounce it last time. But like, let's go over that.
And double A is pronounced O. Håvard, not Havard.
It's true, I did that
Like
mistake
everyone.
too. Like,
Probably everyone does.
I probably said Havard. Oh my god.
Mm.
Anyways, so can you tell me who you are? Who is Julian?
Yeah. I'm a Norwegian. I want to say juggler, but also just a human being. Maybe first and foremost. I have been juggling for a very long time. I started out when I was 7 years old here in Trondheim, where I also live now. I got 3 balls from my mom as a Christmas present, and then I just started tossing them around and trying to figure out how to do like a continuous juggle, because I had this image in my head as a 7-year-old Julian that it should be possible to somehow like take those 3 balls and keep them going in the air. So I stood in front of my bed and had to figure out how to do the cascade. And from there on, it was like less and more and less juggling. And then at 15, it really took off, because then I found the local circus school here and started getting other people that juggled. So I wasn't on the juggling by myself.
But did you
That's a
experiment
bit.
it? Did you from
Mm,
from 7 to 15? Did you experimented more than the cascade?
yeah, I had quite a few tricks and was starting to learn a bit of 4 ball, tiny bit starting on 5. I kind of skipped 4, went straight to 5, skipped 6, straight to 7, like the meme. Yeah, that was me.
Skipping the even
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, for a long time. And if I was doing even numbers, I would be crossing them somehow.
5 3s, 7 5s. We both know them.
Yes, yes, yeah. So that's how I started out, then into circus, and then, yeah, going to France, getting educated there, opening my whole world for what juggling is and can be, and artistry, and just different culture, everything. Lockdown happened. I moved back to Norway, and now I'm trying to spread the love here with all my experiences. So that's a bit of my history recapped really fast. And about who I am as a person now, well, I would say that I'm a person that's really searching a lot for the truth in things, inspired by like Eastern way of thinking, I would say, like yoga and these kind of practices. Just I feel like they are making me feel better when I sprinkle a little bit of it into my life. So I try to put that into everything I do, including juggling, stage arts, performing, just everything. So I've gotten into, like, since the pandemic, I really got into like breathing exercises, like cold water, sauna, do a lot of that, swimming, and trying to meditate like at least each other day to just get like clear of what I am doing with my life and where I'm going,
Yeah.
so that make these little check-ins with myself to
You
make
know,
sure that I'm on the right path.
I want to get somewhere with that. It's kind of early, but I want to get to that theme. Can we talk about how meditative juggling is? Like, in the whole creation part of juggling? Like, I feel like there's such a deep connection with the sport. It's not even just like performing, it's like even like creating your own like trick, like a signature tricks and like your own style and your own way of performing things.
Yeah, I think juggling as a meditation has evolved a lot on me. As in the beginning, I was only learning the tricks and I knew exactly what trick I would be practicing. I wasn't very creative the first like 10 years when I was juggling. I had the goals of a trick I wanted to learn and I learned it. And that's how I was juggling. So in this process, I found a lot of meditation, well, like benefits without even recognizing it, probably. Just like chopping, grinding out hours and hours and hours of 5 up 360 with 5 balls, or just 7 ball endurances, or just grinding a 3 ball pattern. These kind of processes, I really enjoyed them, and that was the meditation for me, like where I really turned off everything and
Mm-hmm.
just and then I think it's partly because I got bored with it, but also a lot to do with a back injury that I got, which made it so now for me it's since 2015 16 when I was really pushing my body so hard in no 2014 I got it, and then I had a surgery a bit after. So it's been almost 10 years since my back injury, and that changed my style a lot because I couldn't juggle. The thing is, I can't stand still for long times now. It's really hard on my back. So whenever I juggle, I well, at first I thought that I needed to be like after the surgery that I needed to be like completely strict with my body, standing still, being strong, for it to not hurt. But it turns out that, well, I could only juggle for like 15 minutes and it would start hurting like crazy. And so I was like doing that for a week or two. And then I saw these French jugglers that were like moving around dancing. So I just tried that kind of for fun. And then I could practice like half an hour and it didn't even hurt. But I stopped myself. And then the next day I tried a bit more of this dancing, moving juggling. And I could train like 45 minutes or 1 hour and it didn't hurt. So I was like, whoa, shit, my body doesn't want me to be standing completely still and throwing things in the air. It wants me to move, and it felt like kind of oiling the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's how I got into the more dancing and movement way of juggling, and then from that I got into the creative side even more, and so now I find a lot of the meditative benefits from like searching, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I get an idea or a frame that I want to work inside. Like now, I'm really curious about. Oh shit, this can bounce. I really want to see all the different kinds of ways it can bounce. But I get easily bored, or it starts hurting when I'm just like standing still doing the same thing over and over, like grinding.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed over the years.
It's crazy how like it's not like the most, I don't know, the most clear thing existing, but like often movement and getting loose on your feet and like it's just like you said, it's just like oiling up your body, just like moving around, not especially like doing like real intense like body movements or something, but like just keeping loose, having like a, flowy arm, like get your spaghetti arm while you're juggling. It's actually like
Yeah.
oiling up and like I don't know if you I don't know if you get it, but like there's two stages that I found in my juggling. When you first like you said, like learning tricks, you do like let's say shower. Okay, I learned shower now. I perform shower, bang, shower. And then you start to like actually know like how to connect stuff together. And that's like more creation than like just reproducing stuff, right? So you have like your own juggling style, and then you bring it to like a whole flow and like whole movement, and even with like when you try out new stuff, you start to incorporate that into like the shower. You learn where your starting out, then you actually like start to create like whole new shapes that you never seen. It's not just like square and like triangles like shower numbers. It's not mathematics. It's like way more human. And like
Mm.
since that time, juggling like is not, it's not just cardio at this point. It's actually like not only like it's making you like sweat or something, like making you move. It's making your head like you're like drifting away with your head. I don't know if you get it.
Mm. Totally. Mm.
I think
I agree.
there's right now I'm in a deep I'm in a deep like sense of like just try new stuff. I'm never doing like the same tricks over and over again. I'm just like freestyling like 3/4 of the time I go outside, and this is like so meditative. Like it's not even just doing sports anymore. It's just, you go out and you create even when you're moving. Like it's still a cardio thing, but also like a art art way of doing your sport. You know.
Mm. Yeah, today I got really intrigued by catching clubs between the fingers. And so I was stuck with that for like 45 minutes, just exploring this, like how can I throw and catch clubs between the fingers? I'd never really done that before. So it's like that was a new thing to explore. And yeah, I was listening to a 20-minute thing in the background and it just stopped. And I don't know how long after that, but then I was just in silence, but I was not at all ready to stop. Like I had more to explore and I was just, yeah, drifting off, as you say.
You don't even
Mm.
see the time passing.
Yeah, lose track.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's actually so fun. Can you talk about like the prop manipulation and all the new creative side of juggling you've been exploring the past years? Like
Mm.
there's a well known era with the older videos you did where you just like perform like good hard tricks and like like square things. Like they were like bam this trick. Like since sometimes I've been seeing like great artistic videos from you where you actually like explore way more than like what we imagine jugglers to explore nowadays. So with like even the new type of props you've been messing out with, like your orbs, the the
Mm.
the balls with the, how do you call them? The
It's a plastic tail.
yeah, it's plastic.
Yeah, it's an extremely thin plastic that is attached to Norwick balls. Uh, so they're extremely light, and the plastic also looks very nice because it's so light. I tried a lot of different materials, but this was the only one that I could really use. I'll bring them so I can show you one sec.
All right. If you want to get quality props, you can use my code XAV10 on playjuggling.com.
So here's the plastic. It's so thin that uh, if you put 140 of these on top of each other, you get 1 millimeter of thickness.
Mm.
So you really need 144 of these stacked on top of each other, and then you get 1 millimeter. So they're just like extremely thin and fragile, 7 micrometers thick, and that makes them like fall slowly. And also the problem, I tried some heavier tissues, or I also tissue that I like cotton so that it doesn't break so easily. The problem is like when you attach it to a ball and you toss it up, you uh, you don't get this trajectory where it's following the ball and making a trail. You get this like you toss the ball up like this, and the plastic is laying down like that, so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't follow, it just hangs underneath. And this has been great to play around with. It has given me a lot of new. I really enjoy how they give me new physicality. That's something I explore a lot and enjoy a lot when trying new props. Like now I'm juggling. with balls, I'm juggling Norwicks and also really heavy balls from Juggle Equip, like beanbags. They're 144 grams, so they're more than twice as heavy as the Norwicks and completely filled beanbags. And I really enjoy how different props, like for me, the Norwick and Juggle Equips, they are not just two juggling balls. For me, um, they are sunscreen and a flagpole. Like they are two just completely different objects. Like for me, I don't think of them as the same category at all because I try to look at the object that I'm holding in my hand and all of its properties, like the color, the texture, the weight, and everything, and see what is special about this ball that I'm holding. What can this ball do? And not just like, this is a juggling ball, whatever
Mm-hmm.
round shape I hold, right? So I found out if you hold a Norwick, like if you pinch it a bit with your fingers and then you do this kind of flicking movement, it kind of turns into a poi, or it behaves a little bit as a poi because all of the sand is in one part of the ball and you're holding on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get this like really,
Yeah,
sorry, strange
there's a
spinning motion.
trajectory in the ball with the sand.
Yeah, but you can get it to like you can flick it in a way so that it kind of stops in the air and then it shoots out. It would be a lot easier to show you. But just to say, like every ball has such a different properties and behaves so differently and invites you to do so different throws with them. And with the plastic ball or the orbs, I really enjoyed to the how they influenced my body because they are begging to be manipulated and handled in a very different manner. Like if you just try to use them as juggling balls, because essentially they're juggling balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to just toss them and juggle them like juggling balls, it kind of feels bad and it doesn't look good because they kind of look dead when you hold them in your hand. And also, if you just try to catch, like you hold a ball in the hand and then you catch another one in the same hand, the plastic will entangle somehow a lot of times. And so when you try to toss it out again, it will like entangle in the other one. So for every single catch that I do when I already hold the ball, I do this swinging motion with my hand so that it gets the plastic out of the way so that I know that when the other ball comes, the plastic of the other ball will be on this side so that when the ball comes in, it will be is free space for it. So that means every time I'm catching a ball, I'm doing this extra little swing with my hand just to have
So,
control over
so it's not
the
just for
tail.
visual. It's not just for visuals that
Yeah,
you.
and it has that bonus effect of it being visual,
It
because
looks
it's
like
like begging.
looks like a 4-2-3 or something with like active twos.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's exactly what it is, but it's kind of begging me to do that move. It's not me that is just like I like the visuals, I always do that. It's actually a practical thing that they want to be handled like that, as a club wants to be caught in the handle, mainly just because it's a bit more like it fits the hand better. So it invites you rather to catch the handle than the body. You can do both, of course, but it invites you more to catch be caught in the handle. Same way they invite you to like do a little swing of the hand before you catch it, and many other things like following the trajectory and tossing them in certain manners. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this aspect of trying new props. What they invite me to do, like how does it want to be handled in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think that I said right now I'm in a big phase of like creation and freestyling and all that. You know what? I think it's not random that it's when I started picking up more clubs. Right now I'm messing around a lot with clubs, even though I don't post that much. I'm trying to get the feel. It's like discovering a new person. A new prop is just like it has a whole personality, its whole way of doing things. It's
Mhm.
actually so like you do a shower with balls, then you do a shower with clubs. They're not the same. It's shower.
Yeah,
It's factually the
yeah,
same trick. It's totally different.
Yeah. I'm not sure I can still do a good shower with clubs. Like that trick is so awkward with clubs, like shower
Yeah,
and box. If you don't do it in a special manner that fits the clubs more, it feels so awkward to me. But that's like ball and club. That's a whole like leap.
rings
But
too.
even just yeah, and rings, but just like different sized rings or different kinds of clubs, they already have so much different things they can do.
All right.
And as I said, different kind of balls.
And I think something fun. It's in between the same props. The way of like actually throwing them. I don't know if you know CG Jared. I met him at a festival. He's like really good at clubs freestyling, and like I love his flow. And like he taught me during a festival like how to multiplex throws the clubs. I was such a beginner. Like I was doing maybe I don't know. I was doing like 5-3-1 side swap with clubs, and that was like it for me. Like he
Mm.
actually showed me like ways of just messing out with clubs. Like it's so fun. Like he showed me how to do a multiplex hold. Like this. This
Hmm.
is just so
Yeah.
fun. Like you can control how many spins each one do individually,
Hmm. Right.
and like just messing out with just that. Even if it's a just a single multiplex into a pattern, it's so much different than just like running four, you know.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting the whole like creation aspect. Like I had it with balls before, where I get like some basic tricks solid, then I can like actually discover my style with the prop. Now it's starting to move out a little bit with clubs. I'm starting to like actually feel how the club want to be handled within the style I
Mm.
want to do. Listen,
Yeah.
that whole topic is real fun.
Mm. Yeah, I struggled so much with that change because I juggle now. It's been balls for 22 years, soon to be 23, and clubs maybe in total I would say like 4 years or something because it's been on and off, but never really serious or short period, so maybe a few years. And I had a long period of time where I felt like I was juggling clubs as if they were balls. I just didn't have control over the spin. I was just tossing them as if they were balls.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all start like that. Like we do the basic like 4-4-1 side swap. Like oh, it's kind of similar, same timing. We're kind of close. Yeah,
Mm.
actually, it's kind of inside out. I usually start my episode with introductions, and then like who inspired you, and then we go off to whatever subject we on. But we started like in real deep stuff, so you want to go to
Mm.
like when you were 15 and you actually learn your not learn, but like when you actually started to build your own juggling style that you have nowadays. Like who inspired you at first? Like do you remember seeing videos or I don't know on websites? A lot of jugglers told me they've seen like their first videos, their first acts on websites.
Mm. Yeah. I wasn't so focused on the stage my first years of juggling, so then it was more like home videos. So I was inspired a lot about the ones that I had around me in the circus school. So it was Lea at first that is the one that started the circus school here in Trondheim, and then Christian Vanvik, the one that creates the Norwics, and he was in WJF also. So he inspired me a lot. I was training with him almost every day at a certain point, um, and he told me a lot about WJF and about festivals, and we watched a lot of videos at his place, like juggling videos, and he used to show me like old traditional circus acts. And so Christian and his videos, he showed me like Finnish jugglers like Sakari Maneste and Jay. Uh, And then Howard inspired me a lot around that period. He posted a lot of videos, and everything he did was just quality. And then I got to meet him also at the Norwegian Juggling Convention, 2012, I think. So he inspired me a lot, and also the British jugglers that came there, like Dave Leahy and Then I saw some videos like more commercial. Victor Key inspired me. I didn't have like one person. Wes was always there, Patrick and Tony. Yeah. So just a lot of different ones that inspired me. I didn't have this one person that I was like watching religiously.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed seeing a lot of different styles.
So we were like handpicking what you've seen online. A little bit of this
Yeah.
one, a little bit of this one. I
Yeah, exactly. And then I had a few people that didn't necessarily inspire me so much, but maybe more motivated me. And Avin was definitely one of them, and also his brother. That was also actually extremely good juggler. His older brother when I started. I had this funny story about him because he was such a like a numbers juggler and like pushing the limits really fast. He's called Tobias Dragsjö. And at the circus school, like I was practicing my five balls a little bit, at the time. And he was, I walked behind him and I saw that he was juggling seven balls, and I was kind of proud of me because I managed to count how many balls it was, because when you see someone just juggling a lot and you ask like, how many balls are that, when you're a beginner, and I was proud because I knew that he was juggling seven. So I walked behind him and I was like, "Yeah, so you're practicing your seven." And he turned his head around and he was like, "No, it's DB97531." and, and, and he was whipping it out from cold start. Like he just held the balls and he went straight into trying to flash DB from cold start and
and you
catch
didn't
them.
recognize it. You thought I was like the basic seven.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't think about it. I was just like, yeah, that's seven balls that he's practicing. I wasn't sitting like watching him, but but he got insulted. Like, do you think I would just practice my seven? Like I'm practicing DB.
It's just DBs. Like
Yeah.
that's such a flex though. Like how can you be that good? You just like start DB from cold. Like there's that
Yeah.
one dude coming like, oh yeah, you're doing your seven.
Yeah, so these guys and Iver and then later Børre, like they all motivated me a lot. Maybe not so much inspired, but maybe more motivated, and we were pushing each other, you know. So a little bit of both, but yeah.
I think it does almost like the same amount of work. I mean, when you see jugglers that makes you want to juggle, it's like maybe not the tricks themselves, but the drive that they have in their juggling makes you want to participate in that, right? Like I
Yeah, so
remember,
it was I was rubbing off from all of us. Like we were pushing each other a lot, but maybe not like, come on, you can do it. But as you say, like
it's not
it's
like the
just
gym.
the
It's not like the gym.
yeah,
Like I want more, I want more
yeah.
ball. You do a 360 now.
Maybe sometimes we would do that a little bit, but mainly it was like you said, like just the energy of pushing that just rubbed off each other,
I think we,
bounced
I think
back and forth.
jugglers are the same people. We're all the same. We all got that one feeling when we were watching juggling videos in the afternoon. You just want to start juggling like so bad. Like just seeing the videos makes you we all have that. And
Yeah.
actually, like it happens so much when I listen to like Hovard's video, even with let's say like New Era. Remember that one with you
Yeah.
in it? I remember
That was,
seeing you two. Oh, I don't remember one time watching that video without going outside to juggle right after. Like
mm,
I don't know. I get like a odd nostalgic feeling of like those 2010s era of juggling in like Europe. Those
mm,
videos seem like actually so fun. Like I would love to have like such friend groups and like juggle with friends, and like even if I wasn't there, it's still like giving me the drive to like, oh, let's go. Energy to I got energy to juggle now. But like I don't know. It seemed like it was a lot of fun. Like, do you have some stories with Hovard? Were you like doing a lot of trick experimenting with him? Do you have
mm.
memories of practicing hard with him?
Yeah, yeah, we were practicing a lot, and and also just having a lot of fun in our practices. I remember I visited, it was like the second time that I met him, and I was down in Stavanger. I'm training at this local spot. I was there for something completely unrelated, but I was like, "Oh, Stavanger, that is Howard's town. I have to meet him. Like, I don't want to join this dinner with all the other people. I have something much more important to do." So I bought like a frozen pizza and I went to his training spot, and he, yeah, we juggled, and then at some point, like we had white and yellow Norwics, and we had a frying pan there for some reason. I don't know if he picked it out of the kitchen or if it was just laying in the training spot. But
Oh.
anyway, at some point we just filled up the frying pan with the balls, and we like made an egg by filling the circle with white balls and then the yellow ball in the center. So we had like like an egg. So we tried to do all of these different moves where we would keep the egg intact. So we would toss them, like the basic one would be just to like lift it up and then make them go up and down, but then just like trying to toss them up, turn it around and stuff like that. So yeah, we were just tossing around on this each, like there was separate juggling balls. And then another time, maximum juggling weekend, we would film uh, 9-ball flash inside of a toilet because it had high enough ceiling. Yeah, just weird things happen, when you hang out. Mm.
Wait, is the egg one the wait? Is the egg one the one picture from the +1 video? You know the.
Yeah,
Wait, I have
yeah,
to look it
yeah.
up.
I'm pretty sure it's in there. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's maybe in the end he didn't use any of the videos that we shot, but maybe just a picture.
Wait, I don't know if it's +1, but I remember it was a thumbnail from.
Not,
Oh,
yeah,
sketchy. It's sketchy.
yeah, yeah,
That
it's not
one.
plus. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it
No, let
focusing?
me see, let me see. Yes, 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 that's it, that's
That.
it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there was a clip. I don't remember actually. Hmm. I remember we had more ideas than what we managed to film, at least. Hmm.
Right. I mean, even in the videos, like y'all got so many fun ideas. Like even the dotted video. Wait, was it dotted? The one where you were doing dot passing? No, dotted.
No, it's a new era, new era.
New era, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Dotted. Hovar was alone in there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. I was in France then. He was living here in Trondheim, so
Mm.
studying here. We had a really, yeah, maybe he talked about that, but since he was living here for 6 years, um, Christian was here, Avin was here, I was here in holidays, and also before moving to France, Berre was also studying here. Severin, a friend of Howard, and all of us, really great juggler, he was here also. So we had a group. No.
Mm.
But then people split off. It's the student city of Norway, so people naturally gather here.
And Howard told me that sometimes at night y'all would just go to the gym to practice because there was like people playing sports before, so y'all were spending like
Yeah,
whole nights just juggling there at the gym.
yeah, yeah. Night sessions. Yes, we had a lot of them. Yeah, we were all studying, and well, it was occupied during the whole day. Like normally now, it's like between 10 and 11, or 9 and between 9 and 11 in the evening. That's when it gets free.
Mm.
So after that, you can train. So if you want to stay for a few hours, yeah. So there was countless amounts of times when we were going home from the gym, and it was like Friday night or Saturday night, and it was like starting to get 3 in the morning, and we were going home, and you just see this line of drunk people that are coming out from the city center that are going home, like drunk students, and we got stopped by them so many times on our way home, just like drunk people everywhere, and they couldn't believe if there was a conversation happening, they couldn't believe that we had been training. Like they were just like, no, no, stop shitting us, like that's not true. And the vibes. Hmm.
Let's go from you said that you've been to France few years ago to study, and that's where
Yeah.
you discovered like the whole dancey style of juggling. Can you tell me about your experiences of juggling in France? What's
Hmm.
different from that era than from like your Norway Norway part of juggling?
Hmm. Norway is very cold in the winter, especially. So a lot of the juggling here happens in gyms. In France or southern countries, South America, you juggle outside, you juggle in parks, and the style gets very influenced by that. So I think this, and also the fact that we are very sports oriented, just made us want to throw high throws. I remember I was juggling with Andreas, a great passer, and like has finicky tricks with three balls and clubs, really like brainy. He's um, he's from Greece, and he told me once we were passing, and I asked him to do like this pattern that included a triple, and he was like, no, we don't do triples. I don't do triples at all. And then I was surprised, like he doesn't do a triple throw with clubs, and because he's a great club juggler, and he was like, yeah, come to Greece and you'll understand. You juggle outside, you have the sun, you have the wind, you don't want to do a triple. So the style is influenced a lot by how you where you juggle, right? So I think that's a part of it. And when I came to France, like I saw these jugglers juggling very differently from me, and I'd seen some videos also of this French juggling that is not very pattern oriented and very flowy.
Mm.
And I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't really know what improvisation was at that time. I didn't really understand that, like Etienne, I knew at the time, and I didn't really understand that a lot of the things he was doing was improvised. But it was really when I got the back injury that it really changed me. But I had seen then a lot of things from the outside, so I think it was easier to like incorporate it into me because I had Nino, Nino Wasmer, a great Diablo player that is also very much into dance and movement with his Diablo. That was inspiring me a lot at that period when I started to move because he was doing a lot of that with his Diablo. And so I had already seen a lot of this very creative, very movement-based flowy juggling, but it was really the back injury that forced me to research that part. I was kind of like still in my bubble before that, doing my Norwegian style, Scandinavian style a bit more, and then this really made me experiment and juggle in a very different manner. And then also my style got very influenced from just performing because you're in I was in circus school. You're gonna make these tasks. Like I was studying computer engineering before, and then my tasks at the university was delivering these math tasks and programming tasks. But now all of a sudden my tasks became juggling related, and I had these deadlines to make juggling. And then of course you start to think more about your audience.
Mm.
So ever since that, my juggling got very influenced by the fact that it's gonna be shown, it's gonna be seen by someone. And I like also to think about that quite a bit with my juggling now. So I don't go into so much the like very like nerdy deep stuff so much anymore, but more about um, maybe more human aspect of juggling, so it's more relatable and not like I try to avoid doing too much like juggling for jugglers and more like juggling for human beings. Yeah. So so looking for the human aspect of the juggling a lot, and having also having a little bit of a hard time to really connect with the works of, for example, Jay, which is extremely good at this going in depth with his ideas. I always appreciated and was so impressed by the things he did, but it was never my style. Like I could never get that deep with my juggling in a way, like going in that direction. So I didn't. I didn't get so touched by his stuff a lot of the times because it's just not me. You know, it's not for me. This that's how I evolved when seeing it. So um, yeah, I'm going in a more like, yeah, let's call it just a human, like non-juggling way of juggling in a little
Mm.
in a way.
I
Mm.
think it's funny the way that you don't have the jugglers criticizing way of seeing things. Like it's funny that you see some J shows and performance where he gets in depth and doesn't speak to you, even if you're like a technical juggler. Not te- I mean, if you're a juggler that know technical stuff, like you know that that's harder than this and that. You, you get what he's doing, right? And like it's kind of funny that you don't connect with that, even though you understand what's going on. So I think that's a real harsh truth of like if me as a juggler I can not connect with that, I should not like do such in-depth stuff with my own stuff if I want to make non-jugglers appreciate it even more. So you can like as a juggler you can handpick what's in depth and what's technical, what's not understandable at first for non-jugglers, and what's the human part, what's the artistic part, what's the visuals, what's the movement. I mean,
Mm.
does that vision help you? Like just having to
Well,
differentiate them?
Well, I don't know really. I think it's just me, you know, it's just my way of doing it, and everybody has their way of doing it. And I don't think necessarily that you need to understand the difficulty to appreciate, for example, Jay's work. Like, I think a lot of non-jugglers can also appreciate it very much. I don't think it's only jugglers that can understand what he does. Um, but, well, I just I had this feeling a lot of times when I watch Jugglers, which has been with me for a long time, which is kind of strange, that I have this feeling that I should appreciate this more than I do, or that I would expect myself to appreciate it more than I actually do. And that has been a strange feeling that has been with me. And that I see jugglers around me, they go like crazy or like they really enjoy these things. And for me, it just didn't speak so much to me. And that has happened a lot of times, especially I would say when like going into these very technical videos. Even though I did it myself, I was not so into watching it actually. Like I said, it was um, inspiration didn't happen so much in this way. It was more just like getting the motivation from seeing anything that would help to push me. And the thing that really, really inspired me in later years was Eric Longequel. That he was doing Diablo, I think, like way back, and then he got into balls. So he's mainly ball juggler, and Guillaume Martinet, which is also ball juggler, both from France, or Eric is from Belgium, French speaking. And those two have a show called Flak that was shown in the EJC in Brunico, 2015, in Italy. And this one was just so mind blowing for me. So I had to go see it twice. Like I came to the early show, and then I remember I was gonna see the open stage in the evening, and I just didn't go to the open stage because I wanted to see the show again. And that was just before moving to France, and it really made me like, wow, anything is possible with juggling. Like you can do really whatever. And yeah, just to give an example for you or others listening that haven't seen the show, like how it starts, I was already like, I was just so mind blown from the beginning. Like they it starts in the dark. The lights get on, and their musician or technician is standing in the middle of the audience. I don't remember exactly if he walks up, and I think there is a small section before this where Eric talks and or eats a banana something and puts it in his pocket. I don't remember exactly. But the first juggling part that happens is Guillaume and Eric standing next to each other on stage, and they're like bouncing up and down, just standing and bouncing up and down next to each other to a kind of like techno beat or something like that, bouncing up and down, shoulder to shoulder. And then all of a sudden, um, the technician in the audience has like a bucket of balls, and he takes one of the balls and he chucks it at them like really fast but horizontally. Up until this point, I never saw horizontal juggling. All of juggling was vertical. It was up and down,
Mm-hmm.
only this axis. And he's tossing them like sideways, you know. And it's not only sideways, it's like coming from right next to me, like he's in the audience. And they are just with their bouncing movements, they're just like catching it with these choppy moves. They're catching the balls and then like tossing it away, or like catching it and putting their arms up and then like tossing it away, and then like both of them um, doing the same move. Like one of them is catching the ball, the other one is just imitating the move, and they're just doing all these different variations with like catching it and like punching the ball away, and the balls are just flying from the audience, and it's not a focus on like making a trick or landing a trick or messing up the whole idea of you either make a trick or you drop a trick. This boundary that all of juggling in my entire life up until this point has been built around, this if boundary is just broken down, there is no like, you don't know if they are managing the trick or not managing the trick. There's nothing like that. And all of this was just so new to me, and that was just the first 5 minutes of the show. And it really opened my mind so much to what juggling can be as a stage arts, as an activity, like anything. And to come back a little bit to my style, like when I juggle now, I find myself getting bored with, actually I'm getting bored a little bit with, and not so inspired by seeing patterns, like both seeing other people doing patterns and also from myself doing patterns, um, because many reasons. It's a little restraining in a way, and bec- because it has some kind of repetitive element to it if
Mm-hmm.
you do a pattern. And I feel like if you have done something on one side, then if you do it on the other side afterwards, it's a little bit like, well, I just saw it on that first side, like show me something else. That's the feeling that I get. And then it goes back to the first side again. And then I know already what's gonna happen. It's just gonna be the same thing on the other side again. Like, and I feel like, I want the story to advance somehow, even though it's not really a story, but just like in the trick. So that's why I like more like movement and sequences,
So you like
because
linear style, like it's doing a line, it's tracing somewhere. It's not like cycling.
yeah, and it's okay to cycle inside of the linear style, but that's what I enjoy the most to see. It's like, yeah, more linear, yes. And if there's patterns, I really enjoy non-symmetrical patterns, like only one-sided patterns. I really enjoy that. Because probably because it's just slightly more linear, or I would guess. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be fascinated with asymmetrical patterns. You know, with especially like my style of juggling. I mean, it's kind of moving right now. I'm in a gray. I'm in a gray stage. Like it's not black or white. I'm in a gray zone of like, eh, I'm discovering what's my style. But before I used to be like real hard into Temoto stuff, you know, with like hard swappy and box and all that stuff, especially hand bounce. So you see, my hand movement was often just this, right? It's just this way, my hand there and my hand there. And I was doing like whole sequences of like maybe backhand and swapping and backhand, like bouncing. And I loved like just doing asymmetrical with just that hand, even though it was kind of flex trying to do like both sided, because hand bounce with the left hand is just like a pain. It's not even like my if my level was a 10 out of 10 on my right hand, it would have been like a 2 on my left. So there wasn't even a option to just bring it to the hand bounce. So I was loving doing the one sided, and you see, often the two X's. I don't even have ball with me. Anyways, the two X's are always the same way. It's like this, right? I'm always doing the
Yeah.
same way, and I
Mm.
love to like keep a same round shape. My arms
Mm.
going around, but there's the same round shape going on. But sometimes yeah. I mean, sometimes it's kind of fun to like switch it and then do another one, because it's unpredictable, even though it's the same side. You see, it's like one linear style, but from this shape. This is
Mm.
one hand there, one hand there. It's asymmetrical, but like there's a whole thing going on with there. You don't even need like symmetry to make it looks good or impressive. I don't know.
Yeah. I think with what I hear a lot with arts in general is that any kind of constraint that you put on yourself, like I'm gonna juggle with my eyes closed, I'm gonna juggle uh, with one hand behind my back, I'm gonna juggle and all of the objects should at some point touch the floor. Like any kind of these constraints, they always open a door for some creativity. Because if I tell you like make a trick, it's a lot harder, even though you have all the possibilities in the world right now to make whatever trick with whatever object. I didn't specify anything. You have all the options in the world. It's much harder to make something than if I would say take your guitar and make a trick where you don't throw the guitar and it has some kind of contact on the body. Like that would
Mm.
be a lot easier for you to find the trick because you have some kind of frame.
Yeah, you got
And the
the
frame,
spectrum. The spectrum is going smaller and smaller, so you're like more narrow into one specific style.
yeah, but it's just you would think it's counterintuitive because you get less options, right?
Mm.
If I say make a trick, then you have a lot more options than if I tell you that make a trick with the guitar. But it doesn't work that way. And that's really fascinating. Like when you say that you had these hand positions, like that's a great motor for creativity. Like you know that you're gonna have one hand up here, you have one hand down here. Now what can you do with that? Like
Mm.
that's a constraint. And I feel a lot of times when learning a trick on both sides or making it symmetrical, it's mainly for the practice aspect of it
Mm.
that I'm like, I would like to just improve my eye hand or my muscle memory with my left hand or my coordination with my left hand. Uh, so it's more maybe of an ego thing that I also would love. I would like to learn it because I should be able to know to do it on my left side, but in reality, like a lot of times I'm just happy with I know it on one of the sides and I like that trick and that's good enough for me. I don't need to like add a throw and then make the same trick on the other side.
You
Mm.
know, you know, in your trick of the month, your most recent one, we talk about this on Instagram. But like, I've been trying the elbow style. You know, at first I even did a post with just a single elbow going up, because I wanted to learn just how the physics works, and like it was actually a lot of fun. But like I did the both sides, like the both elbows going up, just because it was like the what's meant to be. Like if I did it one side, it's because I was going up to the overhead pattern. Like I even didn't get that much satisfaction in the creative side. I just got like satisfied because it's the way of doing it. Because I've seen you doing the overhead one, and I'm like, okay, I want to reach that, so I try to learn one arm first. But like it was just for the manner, right? The manner was just getting to there. I've seen A, I'm gonna reproduce A, even though I went to like B and C. You see.
Mm.
So often we're like
Mm.
just, I don't know, we're imposing something. We're like, okay, I want to learn this, so I'm gonna go through this, even though I like the process of like doing even one arm.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm.
Do you do that often, that you see a juggler and then and or a trick and then you learn that exact trick or do exactly like the juggler is doing?
I always go through like a zigzagging way, right? I have this point, like the my level and the trick. I always try to like find my stuff because I already know like my own kind of styles and my own kind of tricks. And then I that's the first ever thing I try with the trick is the physics, like the timing and like how strong, how na na na, how high, how what speed. You see all that, right? So with the elbow, I had to like figure out what height and like with the actual overhead throw, like how high I should throw to like then catch it back. And then I actually messed around with like side swaps. So even before like landing the true trick, which was like two elbows overhead, I was doing like messing around with like one arm like side swap and like popping off to the next hand and stuff like that, bringing it back. Then there, you see. So I went
Mm-hmm.
with like my own like tricks I have, and I mess out with the physics. I see that works with the elements I already know, so I practice them. So
But
maybe
let me rephrase or ask the question again just to make it clear. I want to ask like the process that you've been through now, like you saw the video where I'm doing these elbow throws and then you wanted to learn it. Um, have you had other occasions where you also do that, that you see a trick or you
yes,
see a
yes,
certain style and then you try to reproduce it
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
the yeah. So um, I think that's really interesting because that's it's this is a big topic, but I would like to dive into it. The reason why I ask is because I think as humans fundamentally, like if you look at a baby, um, how they learn things, they just imitate and copy their parents or their siblings. They see and they do, and that's how they learn anything, everything. And so I think it's a really like one of the few basic ways that we can learn things is by just seeing something and then reproducing it. And if you never do that, I think we'll limit ourselves a lot. And maybe some people are afraid of like stealing tricks, or stealing. But there is this great book by Austin Kleon called How to Steal Like an Artist, which I
Mm-hmm.
really recommend. And he has this graphic where it's showing like how you steal in a good way and how you steal in a bad way. And stealing in a bad way looks like stealing from one person only, and you're stealing longer things and you don't give credit for it. You say you either you don't say anything or you say that you made it up,
Mm.
and you only tweak like small things within a big thing that you stole. But stealing in a good way looks like stealing from a lot of different people and also giving credit to them. And yeah, I don't remember the entire list, but the point is that I made a workshop now in the Swedish juggling convention. I was there 3 weeks ago, and I made a workshop called Make Your Style, because I don't think that style is just something that we are born with and that someday you're gonna wake up and you find like, oh, this is my style.
Mm.
I think that style is something that you develop and it builds, and the only things that can exist within your style is things that you have done. So if you haven't done it or you've never seen it, it cannot be really part of your style. So that means that all the different experiences and all the different tricks and all the different moves that you have seen and tried, those accumulates throughout your whole life, and all of this put together becomes your style.
Mm.
So that's why I believe it's good to just look at as much different styles of juggling, as much different kinds of juggling, and trying to reproduce it. And then you will know what feels good and what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. Like maybe somebody living in Greece will not enjoy like high side swaps, because it just doesn't feel good when you're practicing out in the sun, or South American jugglers that are really sweaty on their skin and they're training with not so much clothes, and it feels just extremely good to do like body rolls with clubs. Some things will just feel better than others, and that's what I did in the convention. I wanted I wanted all the participants to show their style through different tasks and then also copy from each other and try different things. And it was so beautiful to see how every time when somebody stole something but then did it with their prop, maybe not the same prop as they had seen, like a club juggler stealing a trick from a hula hooper, they came up with something new because they put their things into it and built onto it. And and I think that's what style really is. It's, if I look at my style, really what it is just a kind of product of all the different experiences I've been through. I've been through many years of like pure technical kind of sports juggling, and then getting my injury, and then seeing things in France and getting inspired, and then experimenting more with my juggling and having to change my style because I couldn't stand still and juggle because it would hurt my back. So I had to like bring movement into it, and I started doing that. And so and then later on now, getting sometimes in phases where I'm a little bit bored of just pure juggling for juggling's sake. Sometimes in juggling conventions or trainings, I get super inspired to do that. But in other moments when I'm maybe performing a lot, I feel like I need something different for the children, for example, the children's shows. So now I've been experimenting a lot with like theatrics and making characters and sounds with my voice, like these kind of explorations. So getting more into improvisation in theater, and
Mm.
all of these things put together are creating my style.
It's crazy though. Like, I don't know if you see it, like your style literally tells you who you are. Like if you
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
hadn't had that one decision to study in France, if you didn't have that one back injury, if you didn't watch that thing, if you didn't try this out, you'd probably be like another juggler. Maybe you would be like this, and now you're that. You see, you can go from A to Z just with the things you see. Like it's actually like so fun to think about that, and like it's so clear. If you reproduce it, it's because it's what you like. Like let's say I love the movement of this trick. Like I was so inspired seeing the new technique of, just it stalls, but their throws, even if you don't notice it, it's just like okay, it's just overhead threes, but it was like stalls going up and down just with the elbows. There was new movement, new shapes with like nothing, right? It's just twos, but they're there, right? You see, like just because I like that, I'm reproducing it. So your style literally shows you what your likings are in general. Like what you do is what you saw and liked. So that's when you want to reproduce. So that's when you want to show and like give to others. You see?
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to wrap it up. That's a good. Hmm.
That's such a beautiful ending.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. Oh, yeah, are we at the ending? Probably, yeah. Shit, it's been 1 hour.
I know, right? I've seen the timing, but we
I
got we,
said
we
the
got
word.
lost.
Yeah, we got lost. I said the word wrap it up, like to wrap up that like container of things, but maybe it's the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have one story though. I have one story because you asked me about like fun stories from festivals to end with, and now I was
You know what?
talk about.
It's gonna be a longer episode, so even if you see a different timing thing with this one, it's fine. Okay, it's just bonus. Just enjoy it. Sit down and enjoy stories now.
Yeah, so well, I have a lot of stories, but there's one that came to mind now. Speaking about the Swedish juggling convention, I was there a few weeks ago, and we were doing all these games that it was so great. They were so creative with the games. It's David, I think, mainly that had the games, and Svart Adam as well, Adam and David and Jonathan that was hosting it. They three together made such a good convention, and there was a lot of fun games. Like we were doing, uh, I, yeah, we were doing these different things like limbo, but you didn't have to go in a limbo way. So it was just like cascade and body has to go under the bar, and you
Mm.
could walk in whatever way you wanted. So it made some fun new strategies. You know, it's not like a competition of who can just go, who is the most flexible in the back and has the best technique. So it's all these different, really cool games, and 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 all of a sudden I see Petter Wadsten, this uh, short guy, a Swedish guy, the ring juggler with the big rings that has been around since forever, really good ring juggler. He had pulled out this little taser armband that you can give like electrical shocks with. And he started to challenge people with this. And so I put on the wristband, not knowing what to expect at all. And he tells me it goes up to 100 per hour. And I juggle 5 balls with this taser armband, and I can feel some kind of tingling, like tickling almost. And I'm saying like, how much power is that? And he said that's 4 out of 100. So I'm like, oh, okay, do a little more. Like I barely feel it. Like I can still juggle, you know. And then all of a sudden, my arm just stops working. It feels like I I just can't like even stand up anymore, not let alone like forget the cascade. Like it's just like paralyzing my whole body, and I fall down on the floor like, ah, what was that? Like how much power was that? And it was like, oh, 97.
There was not no in between.
Yeah, he just cranked it up to 97. And that whole evening was really colored by him and Gustav Rosell sitting in the corner, like looking at the jugglers that put on their bracelet and like shocking them in different ways while they were doing different tricks. Uh, yeah, that was a funny mix, and I never expected that to happen, you know.
So funny, like forget about the cascade. I'm just trying to survive right now. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah,
imagine the fire, the pattern just like going and just trying to stand
yeah,
up. Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
felt.
I was down on the ground. Yeah,
What kind of games do y'all
yeah.
play?
Oh yeah, it was like put a club between your toes, and you have to swing it up like the swinging kick up, but you do it behind you. So you swing the club up behind you, and the game is to make the club travel the furthest in
Mm.
front of you, but you have to catch it. So it's kind of like throw the club and run as far as you can and catch it, and you have to stop where you catch it. But you have to throw with your foot, like doing the kick up, with toe kick up behind your back and flying over your head.
Mm.
That was one of them. Then we had the EJC game. So we sat in a huge circle. We call it the EJC game. I don't know. Like when you bounce the club like this and try to make it stand up. You know this when you just like
Yeah,
bounce the
yeah. It
club
goes
not
flat
on the
and
ground and then stand on the head. Yes. So we were doing that, all of us. And there was also like putting a club uh, between your leg legs like this, and then was it this way? Yeah, I think it was this way, like this, and then like trying to get the club to travel as far as possible by like shooting it out like that.
How drunk were y'all?
Actually, it was alcohol-free convention, except for the gala show night, because then there was a bar there.
That's your like
So
drunk people games, right?
yeah, no, it was. That's the thing. That's the thing. It was creative and different. So then you
Hmm.
didn't need the alcohol. You know, if we would do the
Yeah.
same old boring games, then we would need the alcohol. But since it was all new and very creative, it was so fun. And like that game is a lot about luck, but also about like getting the right bounce because there's a limit to how far you can
There was
shoot it with your hip.
strategies.
Yeah, yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
got
So we had to
strategy.
develop strategies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got real serious and joking at the same time. It
I,
was a lot of
I
fun.
mean that's how we have fun with juggling, right?
Yeah.
Don't take it
Oh,
too seriously.
another story I remember too. Iver and Iver, two Norwegian jugglers, were doing naked combat in the hall in the Norwegian juggling convention, and then yeah, lots of naked shenanigans, like in the shower. Also, remember a lot of soap on the floor and then like sliding on the ground and then like Christian just bouncing off the wall and doing like a 1080, kicking himself off from the one wall of the showers, ending up at the other side but spinning like 3 times on the way over there. Like, yeah, pushing the limits like
Okay, now
jugglers
there
always
was
do.
now there was alcohol involved in that.
And nope,
Okay, y'all just
sorry.
weird. Y'all just like to be
Yeah,
weird. That's it.
that's the secret, man.
Oh
No, we
man.
were way too young at that point. Well, I didn't really drink at all before I turned 18, and that was yeah, maybe I was 16 or something. First year Norwegian juggling conventions I was attending.
Bro, Europe is different.
Yeah, Europe is different,
y'all
man.
know how to have fun.
Well, now you're hearing the fun stories of my soon-to-be 30-year long life.
You know, you're
Uh,
you're 30 years
so
young. You're still young.
30,
We're
yeah,
young.
30 years.
Everyone's young.
Yeah,
We still got we
yeah.
still got time and
But you,
experience. You know.
yeah, but you're getting the fun bits.
Yeah.
I assure you that there's been some boring parts too.
Yeah, yeah. In every boring conventions, there's the Norwegian one where y'all do whatever. So there's a balance, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always balance.
Anyways, so what can we expect? What can we expect from you in the future? Are you
Mm.
hanging out with different jugglers? Are you trying to do projects? What's going on?
Yeah, right now I've been invited to to develop a baby show where I'm gonna be a juggler working together with a dancer and also a musician on stage. So that's really exciting. That's for like Christmas time. After Christmas, it's gonna be premiere in February next year. I also have my solo show that I've developed for kids, where it's mainly juggling in it. I also do some music, a lot of theater, a lot of these characters. So I make like uh, my research has been very revolved around how can I place the juggling balls in different ways on my head, especially or body, to make different characters, and
Mm.
how do these characters juggle, and what sounds do they produce. So I don't have so much music in this show. Um, it's called the mythical, mystical, magical garden. So there's a lot of different creatures, and it's for kids like 3 years up. So I'm gonna perform that um, more from the fall, premieres in the beginning of the fall, and I have a few gigs here and there with that. Mm, so that's like work in progress. So still exploring a bit there, and then going to EJC, and there's also the Norwegian Juggling Convention before that. So I'll be hanging out with a lot of jugglers there in the beginning of July, end of June. is a Norwegian one, and then now the EJC has changed location to Lublin, so we'll be going there. That's gonna be inspiring as always. And I'm probably gonna do something at the open stage. Like I always try to get some stage time in, just to push myself.
Just don't get alcohol involved. It's gonna go through like naked stuff and and all that. Try to stay family friendly for the kids there. Well,
yeah, that always happens.
If y'all want to check out Julian, there's this Instagram handle. Can you point down? Just down.
I can point
there.
Down. It's
there's
down there.
There's your Instagram right there, and check out the new. I mean, new. It's kind of recent. Right now we're recording May 2023. It's still recent. Check out the new trick of the month from Julian. That one's a real fun one, real inspiring one. And yeah, just check out everything on his Instagram. There's a lot of fun, a lot of creativity there. And also, I happen to have a sponsor with Play Juggling. I've been loving them props. If you want to get high quality props, you can go on their website, and I have a code with them. You can use the code XavJuggles, XavJuggles, on their website to get 10% off your next purchase. And yeah, Julian, that episode was real fun. It's a little bit younger. It's a little bit longer. See, I'm getting tired. That was long. It's a little bit longer than usual, but I hope y'all like that. Write a comment. Tell us if you want to get like longer episodes. Maybe y'all like the long and chill format, talking about different festivals and stories and all that. So yeah, please leave a like, subscribe to the IJA. Have fun, guys. Have fun juggling. Don't take your thing too seriously. And your style is what you like. So show what you like. Anyways,
and all of your experience.
Exactly. So continue experiencing. Don't be boring.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.